Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell, and with me, as always, is the mad scientist Mike Buchanan, deep in the Buchanan Laboratory. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, Jody. What's up over there in South Carolina?
Like I said last week, it just keeps getting yellower and yellower here. Pollen is everywhere. So go ahead and bless me. I'll probably sneeze 4 times.
Preemptive blessings? Or
I could use some preemptive blessings, man. Are you kidding me? Oh man, I tell you, it's great. It's all good here in the lovely sunny South. We're going to be close to 90 degrees come this weekend. And, that'll be fun. But hey, what I really want to know, what's going on in the laboratory there, my friend?
Well, I'm working on a new captioning system, Jody, to put truth back in, if not advertising, in politicizing. Your local.
Wait. Truth back in politicizing? Was it ever in politicizing? I mean, come on, man.
Honest Abe. George Washington cannot tell a lie.
That's spin.
I'm too old. I'm old, but I'm not quite remembering those two. But no. Your local or your national politician steps in front of the mic and he says, we need to build more roads and more airports and more everything. And then the closed caption would come up and say, we need to raise your taxes more than you want us to.
Yes. Truth.
Or, truth what?
Truth captioning.
Truth captioning, yes. Or he might step up, or she might step up and say, we need to fund the arts and literature. And the truth will come up, I need a new home in the Bahamas.
Yes. I love it. Truth captioning for all of our friends north of Richmond. That is, there you go. Hey, you know what? We could use that truth captioning on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, because let's talk a little WWE here, pal, because the truth is that neither Royal Rumble winner is going to main event WrestleMania. What is this? Are you kidding me?
It's an R-truth.
It's our faults, apparently. I mean, all we've heard about winning the Royal Rumble is that you go on to main event WrestleMania. It's in his name, main event Jey Uso, not main eventing WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair with a comeback of the month, I don't know, maybe even the week, whatever. But she's not main eventing WrestleMania. Apparently, we're going to get Cody and John the second night, and the triple threat match of Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and freaking Rollins. That's the main event of night 1? Really?
But honestly, JoJo, would you rather see the triple threat, or would you rather see that no talent having Jey main event Uso versus the Ring General Gunther?
See, what I'd really rather see is the main event of the first night be Charlotte and Tiffany. That deserves the main event. Now, I was never for Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, but when it happened, okay, let's see if it plays out here. Let's just see if it works. It's not working. Mike, here's the thing: the best performer from in ring, out of ring, in promo, in backstage segments has been Jimmy Uso. Did you see him slap Gunther? I mean, that was pretty legit. Yep. Jimmy Uso has been stealing the whole show here. And you know, listen, here's the thing about Jey. He's got a catchy entrance, a catchphrase, a little dance thing that's caught on. That's fine. That's all good. You need that. I get it. If you're going to be a top guy, you need something like that. Cody's got his whoa. Seth freaking Rollins has got them singing the song, all of that. Jey Uso's got yeet. Good for him. In ring, Jey Uso's tolerable. He's good. He's fine. He's not the super technician. He's not Dean Malenko. Okay. He's not a fantastic wrestler. He's fine. And that's enough. That's okay. But dude cannot tell a story. He was zip tied to the top rope when his twin brother was bleeding all over the place, getting the tar kicked out of him, getting everything handed to him by Gunther while Jey had to watch. He was expressionless. He just stood there watching, just every now and then would grit his teeth. Where's the story, man? Why do I even care that Jimmy Uso is getting his tail handed to him when his twin brother doesn't seem to care? So no, I don't think. First of all, I don't think main event. I do think it's lame event Jey Uso. I don't think he should have won the Royal Rumble. I don't think he should main event WrestleMania. I don't think he should win the world title. But he did. He did win the Royal Rumble, and they're not putting it in the main event. It bothers me, Mike. It's bothering my OCD. It's bothering my ADHD. It's bothering my whatever other letters you want to come up with.
Spoiler alert, this is going to bother your MAD. Because lame event is going to beat Gunther. The comeback story. Jey Uso walks out of Vegas as your, what are they calling it? It's not the world heavyweight. Isn't that Cody? But anyway.
I don't know what they're calling it now.
Gunther's going to drop the belt.
I think they're calling it the World Heavyweight Champion, and the other one's the WWE Championship. I think they got rid of the Universal title, whatever.
Yeah. Whichever one Gunther has, he's going to drop.
Here's the thing, Mike, is that there's no reason for that.
That's why they'll do it.
Absolutely no reason for that. There's been no story built up for that. So here's the thing. I mean, you've got Jey Uso who has lost and lost and lost. Oh, he won the Intercontinental title. Oh, he lost it 2 weeks later to the same guy he beat for it. Oh, he lost and lost. And oh, he wins the Royal Rumble. And now he's got to go against Gunther, who he lost to before in another PML or whatever they're calling that, whatever those letters are for that, Premium Live Event, PLE. And now he's getting a World Heavyweight title shot at WrestleMania. He didn't deserve to win the Royal Rumble to begin with. It was the wrong move to make. They made it. Okay, run with it. As bad as he is, run with it.
They are.
No, they're not, because they're not main eventing it. This is the thing. It's disrespectful to the Royal Rumble. I have more respect for the Royal Rumble than I do Jey Uso. The Royal Rumble winner should main event WrestleMania, whether it's Jey Uso, John Cena, or Hornswoggle. They should main event WrestleMania because that's what the winner gets. It's like the President of the United States. You may not like who it is, but you respect the office. Well, you respect the winner of the Royal Rumble and you give them what they deserve, and that is to main event WrestleMania, not to have Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk main event. Not that I'm not looking forward to that match. I think that's going to be one heck of a match. I think we're going to see something coming out of that no one expected. But they didn't earn the main event status because none of them won the Royal Rumble. They were all eliminated, and they're still main eventing WrestleMania. That bothers me.
What if they're planning on taking the winner of that three-way, adding them to the Cena Rhodes match on the next night?
Hey, anything's possible at this point, the way this booking has gone. I mean, there's been no build-up to this WrestleMania.
No.
There really hasn't. This storytelling as to why we should care. Where has Randy Orton and Kevin Owens been? Have I missed it? Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But there's not been this storytelling buildup. I mean, sure, KO has come interrupted some of his matches. He's shown up. He's hit him and then ran off. That all happens during the year. This is WrestleMania. Why do I care?
Where's the IC champion?
Where's Bron Breakker? And now they're trying to build something up with Penta and the Judgment Day, and I'm sure that's going to end up in a fatal 3-way or 4-way or something like that with those 4 individuals. Why do I care? Because it just seems like it's all being thrown together. Mike, WrestleMania, what is today? We're on April the 6th, 7th. I don't even know what day it is.
It's going to be April the 8th whenever
Are we 8th? Are we on the 8th? Okay, so here we are. How many days away from WrestleMania? We're 11 days away. Oh, man, come on. You know what? I can't take it anymore. We got to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some real wrestling. Wrestling for Christ right after these messages. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. Now it's time for us to dive into the real wrestling. Wrestling for Christ. And Mike, what a fantastic Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour show that we had this past Saturday night right here on Abundant Television. If you don't know, Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour at 6 p.m. every Saturday night. And boy, I tell you what, for the lack of storytelling we had leading to WrestleMania, a lot happened Saturday night on Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour because rumors started swirling right before we came on air that something was going on with the Conquerors. Kenny Austin, Chris Thunder Anderson, they were the number 1 contenders for the World Tag Team titles. And all of a sudden we're hearing all of this scuttlebutt about them not even being a tag team anymore.
Yeah, I think we're number 1 contenders might be the operative word there, Jody.
You know what? I think that is possibly the case because Thunder Anderson had a match, the first match of the show. Of course, Charles Humperdinck comes out with him. Kenny Austin's nowhere to be found. You know, if you're a tag team, you come support your tag team partner. Now, Kenny kind of had a bigger match in the card, but a match to focus on. He, in fact, was in the main event against Shane Austin. A lot of people don't know Kenny Austin, Shane Austin. Yes, they are father and son. That came out at the end of the match. Kenny Austin out there with Sir Charles Humperdinck as well. Thunder Anderson nowhere to be found. Not out there supporting Kenny in his venture to win the world title. And it was at the end of the match, after Shane Austin retained his title, he seemed pretty impressed with his prodigal son, Kenny Austin. In fact, so much so that he took the mic and said, hey, you know, a lot of people don't know that we're father and son. We don't like each other. We fight over everything. But you and I can accomplish more in WFC than you can with these people you're hanging around. He pointed at Sir Charles, told Sir Charles that blood was thicker than water, and it was time for him to step aside. And I got to be honest with you, Mike. So, of course, Sir Charles was livid, blindsided. You know, he's been working at the Humperdinck Ranch with these two, getting them ready for their tag team title. Now it's all blowing up. But Kenny Austin, Mike, he looked interested. He looked like he was contemplating what his dad was saying. And I got to tell you, a Shane and Kenny Austin team, father-son, yeah, they don't like each other much. You know, there's a lot of people out there with contentious relationships with their father.
Oh, yeah.
They don't see eye to eye. They argue. But at the end of the day, when the chips are down, family tends to stick with family. It's going to be interesting to see if Charles Humperdinck is able to salvage this.
You know, speaking of wrestling for Christ and that conflict, it's not a father, but in Proverbs, I want to say 17:17, it says a brother is born for adversity, but there's a there's a friend that sticks closer to a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And I can't but think that if a brother and a brother stick that closely, how much more a father and a son.
I mean, listen, there, like I said, there's a lot of things that happen in relationships with fathers and sons. Some of them, a lot of them really positive, some of them not so much. And I don't have the backstory on Shane and Kenny Austin and their relationship, but what I do know is I know both men. Shane Austin is one of the most blunt, straightforward. You know where you stand with Shane the minute he opens his mouth because he tells you. If Shane Austin says, hey, listen, I think we can accomplish a lot here in the WFC, he's not shooting a line. He believes it. And if anyone knows that, it's going to be Kenny Austin. And I've said from the beginning, Kenny Austin, pound for pound, the most powerful, the probably one of the toughest individuals next to his dad in the WFC. So those two teaming up, man, it's going to be formidable. And, you know, I don't know if Shane has visions of a faction forming or if he just wants to work with his son. If that happens, everyone in the WFC better look out. Speaking of looking out, I'll tell you who needs to look out. Dre White and the Hornet. 2 weeks ago, Mike, Dre White interrupted me as I was coming into Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, as introducing the show. He steps into the screen and says that he's tired of being overlooked. He's tired of being anchored down by a deadbeat partner who's here half the time. And when he is here, he's taking the 1, 2, 3. I mean, Dre White did not have nice things to say about the Hornet. No. Now, as we saw Saturday night, maybe they reconciled. Maybe they had a conversation. Dre White was in action. Who was accompanying him? Of course, it was the Hornet, who seemed a little over enthusiastic for his cheering of Dre White. It almost seemed staged. It almost seemed like he was trying too hard. You ever seen someone try too hard to prove a point?
Especially in wrestling. Oh yeah.
This was, I mean, we talked about main event Jey Uso not telling a story. Hornet was telling 4 stories at once. But at the end of the day, inexplicably, the Hornet up on the ring apron as Dre White hit his underhook suplex, his finishing move. And he distracted the referee. Will McGuire kicked out. Hornet's over there arguing with, Dre White's over there arguing with Hornet. Get off the ring. I'm trying to win. And Will McGuire sneaks in, rolls him up. Good old schoolboy 1, 2, 3. And Dre White took the loss there. After the match, argument ensues. I mean, you can hear Dre White saying, what are you doing? You cost me the match. You can hear Hornet say, see if I help you again. Storms out of the ring. They didn't come to blows, but it was very close. So it'll be interesting to see not only where we go with Dre White and Hornet, but where we end up with the Conquerors and Kenny Austin and the proposal from Shane Austin. All that and more coming up on Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, fans. I tell you what, we'll be back right after these messages for my favorite part of the show, Finding Tomorrow. Stay tuned. Hello, wrestling fans. The Gentleman Jody Powell here. Are you searching for an engaging speaker for your next church event, civic meeting, industry conference, or a company-wide motivational session? Well, look no further. I'd be honored to bring energy, insight, and inspiration to your event. With experience as a 2022 Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking semifinalist, I know how to connect with audiences, both large and small. Whether it's an intimate gathering or a packed auditorium, I'll deliver a memorable and impactful message tailored to your needs. Visit today at www.jodypowellspeaks.com to explore my keynotes, talks, and trainings. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Book me today. You'll be glad you did. Hello, everyone. The Gentleman Jody Powell here. And Easter is coming. Now, whether you like to do Easter baskets or you just enjoy giving a nice gift to family and friends on Easter, give them this. Feeling Down, Look Up, written by my good buddy, the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan. This is a fantastic devotional. One of the best devotions that I have ever read. There's places in the book to make notes for those epiphany moments that you have while you're reading the devotional. Go to Amazon, order it today, look it up, feeling down, look up, by Mike Buchanan. Don't give your friends and family those Reese's peanut butter eggs. Give them this. Send me the peanut butter eggs. Those things are delicious.
Welcome back, fans. Especially those of you that follow us for Finding Tomorrow. We really appreciate those, and also the ones that follow us for the wrestling stuff. You know, Jody, we've been talking about unrest in these two wrestling federations, unrest in tag teams at WFC, and unrest in the writers' room in WWE. So maybe it would help both sets if they would learn how to rest. You know, God spent 6 days creating.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done the study. The original Hebrew translates 24-hour days. Not thousands of years, not billions of years. 24 hours.
We got to explain the dinosaurs, man.
That's another.
I know.
That's another TV show. But at the end of those 6 days, God rested. Did creating the universe tire out an all-powerful being? I don't think so, Tim. He did it to show us an example. Now, he knew that his creation was not that smart sometimes. So, whenever he took on human form, the disciples asked him to teach them to pray. Matthew 7-ish. But conversely, Jesus knew that his disciples needed to know how to rest. And Jody, sorry, you were bringing up something interesting that you found in Matthew 11, and then how it applied maybe to the concept.
Yeah, you know, Mike, this Matthew 11, the Bible verse there is 11:28 through 30, and it's Jesus talking. He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You know, and so it's funny. We were talking about this off air, Mike, and you know, as a little kid, I would hear this verse and I would hear the word yoke, and I would think of an egg yolk. Then I'd get hungry. Then I start thinking about the eggs I had for breakfast and what I was going to have for lunch, and I suddenly stopped listening to the sermon.
Yeah, easy to do.
Easy to do when your stomach's growling. However, that's not what Jesus was talking about. He wasn't talking about chicken eggs. Actually, the yoke that's described here back in those days was a wooden piece that was about this long that was on your plow, and it was fixed between two oxen. And the purpose of it was to have the oxen pulling in the same direction and allowing the burden to be shared between them. And it's interesting. I think of the Iditarod. I love Malamutes. I love Huskies. I love those dog breeds. And I think about what the amazing things they do in the Iditarod in Alaska when those dogs are pulling these sleds. Well, there is a lead dog in this sled. The other dogs learn from the lead dog. Well, in this case, Christ is telling us that if we want to find rest, then to take up yoke with him. In other words, come into communion with him. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting that the verse says, and learn from me, because when I think of learning, I don't think of rest. I think of going to school, half sleepy with the sleep coming out of your eyes. You know, I'm going to do my homework. But when we come into rest with the Lord and we come into communion with the Lord, you can't help but learn from the Lord. And the main reason that we need rest, Mike, is that we tend to carry our burdens heavily. We tend to carry everything on our shoulders, especially men, but women do it as well.
Absolutely.
And we carry all of this, we bottle all of this up, we suffer in silence, but Christ is saying, come to me, take upon my yoke, my burden is light. And he's saying that if you will just come into communion with me, everything that is heavy burden and is weighing you down, is keeping you from resting, I will carry that burden for you and you will rest. And it's incredible rest. It's unlike anything we've experienced in naps or long night sleeps or sleeping in late on Saturday morning. That doesn't even come close to the rest of finding Christ.
Yeah, and even after Jesus was resurrected and went to heaven, where he didn't need to rest, and where eventually we won't need to rest. Peter, in his first epistle, in chapter 5, verse 7, says, cast all your care. One translation has anxiety, but cast all your care or anxiety on him. And him he's talking about is Jesus, because he cares for you. Those burdens, those cares, Jesus created you. He knows how to deal with them a whole lot better than you do. But it's hard sometimes to make that switch to let somebody else handle it. That's why, like Marcos or Jody was just saying, hold on. You have to make that transfer and let somebody else take it over.
Well, and two, I mean, not only does the verse also say that that you will come to rest and learn, but it also says that I am gentle and humble in heart. Talking about Christ, talking about himself, saying that, hey, come take up the yoke with me, rest in me. I am gentle. I am humble in heart. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to, just lay into you like a angry father who is mad at the son who has done something wrong. No, I am humble. I am gentle. I will help you carry your burden. And while that doesn't mean that Christ doesn't rebuke sin, doesn't correct us in our ways, it does mean that it's done so in a way of a loving father, not of a vengeful dictator, someone who's forcing us to worship him. Christ has never forced anyone to love him or worship him. And so that's why there's the invitation there for us to come into communion with him and to lay our burdens down and to allow him to carry those burdens for us. And that's where the rest comes in, because it's not about, sprinkling some fairy dust on us so that we magically fall asleep. It's about Christ taking the weight off of us from right here, because we all carry it here.
Speaking of taking that weight, in a minute, Jody's going to talk about next week, which would be our normal last show before Easter. So I just want to remind everybody, especially if you don't know what Easter is about. Easter is about Jesus taking the weight of the sins of everybody on the planet. Everybody that had lived, everybody that will live, everybody. The greatest weight you can imagine. And he took that weight on his shoulders and died for us so that we can live with him. So if you wonder what that means, you can email us at the email on the bottom of the screen. If not, all you have to do is pray and ask for his forgiveness and ask him into your heart.
There it is. It's that simple. In fact, you know what, Mike? We haven't talked about this, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. The Monday after Easter, we're going to have an Easter special, because there's nothing that says that you have to have an Easter special before Easter. We could talk about Easter after Easter. So what do you say? Not next week, but the next, let's have an Easter special, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about and cover in that. And we can celebrate that all year long, even the day after Easter. But next week, we're excited because we're going to have a very special guest in studio to talk WrestleMania. It's going to be a full-on WrestleMania preview show with predictions, previews, storylines, thoughts. Everything that you want to know about WrestleMania coming up is coming next week with a very special guest, so you'll want to stay tuned. Speaking of staying tuned, stay tuned right now because coming up, it's Chris Whaley, Jeff Dixon, The Clash on Abundant TV.